Welcome back to another episode of Just One Thought. Today we are going to talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's a cognitive bias that, in simple terms, describes how people with limited knowledge or skill in a particular area often overestimate their competence. Basically, the less you know, the more confident you might feel. It's like this mental blind spot we all have.
Oh my gosh, yes! For instance, when someone watches a YouTube tutorial on fixing a car, they often think they're ready to rebuild an engine or something similar. It's wild.
Exactly. And that's such a classic example. Because when you start out, you don't know enough to even recognize what you don't know, right? You have what's called the peak of Mount Stupid. You feel like, hey, I've got this all figured out. When in reality, there's a massive learning curve ahead.
That's so true. And what about at work? I feel like people do this at work all the time. Like when someone new joins a project and automatically thinks they know all the answers.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't just stop at personal projects or hobbies. This can slip into leadership decisions, corporate strategies, even public policy. And as you can imagine, that overconfidence can lead to some very costly mistakes.
For sure. It's like the people leading with total certainty might not even realize the ripple effects of their choices.
I think the key takeaway here is recognizing when this tendency might show up in our own lives. Like, at what points are we too sure, too quickly? And instead of leaning into that false certainty, how can we, let's say, ask more questions, seek a second perspective?
Yeah, like where could I slow down and get more curious? It's so easy to jump to conclusions, but imagine how much more we could learn if we just hit pause for a second.
Right. It's all about creating space for curiosity rather than rushing to judgment. A little humility can go a long way, don't you think?
Totally. And honestly, that's a question we should all ask ourselves. Where do I need to create that space in my life? You know, that idea of creating space to reflect is so important. But I'm curious, where do we actually see this Dunning-Kruger effect play out? I mean, beyond the YouTube mechanics?
Oh, it's practically everywhere. Take businesses, for instance. You know, there have been cases of CEOs pushing new strategies or products based on overconfidence in their understanding of the market. Big sweeping decisions without enough groundwork. And those tend to end, well, poorly.
Oh gosh. Like what? Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. One famous case is the Segway. Remember that? The company's leadership was so confident that it would revolutionize city commuting that it didn't adapt to feedback or market conditions. They overestimated how well the public would embrace it and underestimated the impact of, for instance, infrastructure changes and pricing.
Oh my gosh, yes. I recall hearing about it when it was released. They thought it was going to be this huge thing, right? And now it's just, what? A niche product for tours or mall cops?
Exactly. And it highlights how overconfidence in leadership can have ripple effects. But here's the thing. It's not just about business strategies. We see this in justice-related fields too, where unchecked certainty can have much graver consequences.
Wow, yeah. Like how overconfidence could mess things up with, I don't know, evidence or decisions.
Precisely. Think about wrongful convictions. Sometimes investigators or attorneys are so convinced they've got the right answer that they overlook or dismiss evidence that contradicts their theory. And that false certainty, it can derail lives. Entire lives.
That gives me chills. Imagine being so sure you were right you didn't even notice you were wrong and someone else paid for it.
It's heartbreaking. And it all comes back to overconfidence, doesn't it? We assume we've got enough information, we stop asking questions, stop listening, and before you know it, the mistakes are baked in.
So how do we stop that? Is there a way to check ourselves?
Well, there are strategies. Number 1, listening to diverse perspectives. Seek out voices that might challenge your assumptions, especially in areas where you feel particularly confident.
Oh, yeah, like getting comfortable with counterpoints. That feels like a super challenging task, but it's so worth it.
It is. And in teams, fostering open communication is key. If people feel safe disagreeing, you're less likely to fall into the trap of groupthink, or, let's say, unchallenged overconfidence.
Yeah, it's kind of like teams that encourage questions are the ones that avoid those mountains of stupid, right?
Exactly, encouraging curiosity, building a culture of humility, it makes all the difference when, let's say, the stakes are high.
All right, so we've talked about fostering curiosity and humility when the stakes are high, but where do we even start? Like, what's the first step if someone's stuck in that I already know it all mindset?
Great question. I think the first step is self-awareness. Take a moment to pause and notice your own thought patterns. When you're convinced you know the answer, Ask yourself, how sure am I really? That small moment of reflection can make a big difference.
Wait, I love that. Asking, am I sure? Feels like such a simple thing we forget to do.
Exactly. And from there, it's about giving yourself permission to not know. That doesn't mean you're uninformed, it means you're open to learning more. Pair that with mindfulness. Just taking a pause before reacting, that can help reset your perspective.
Okay, so pause, breathe, and then maybe even reframe the situation?
Precisely. Instead of instantly rushing to conclusions, ask yourself, what can I learn here? Or what don't I know yet? It invites curiosity back into the equation.
Ooh, I love that. It's like curiosity becomes your superpower. And you know what helps me? Feedback. Like when I ask someone, hey, what do you think I'm missing? It's scary, but it's kind of the best way to learn about your blind spots.
Absolutely. And constructive feedback is invaluable when it comes from the right sources. It's uncomfortable at times, no doubt, but it's one of the quickest ways to grow.
For sure. And honestly, collaboration is, in my opinion, the biggest eye-opener for me. When you work with other people, especially if they're way better than you at something, it's like, okay, I've got a lot to learn here, but that's kind of amazing.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Collaboration forces us to recognize our limits and, let's say, lean on others' strengths. It cultivates a healthy sense of humility, which is exactly what we've been talking about, isn't it?
Totally. And it's such a relief not to have to know it all, you know? Honestly, creating space for all that curiosity sounds so much better than pretending you've got it all figured out.
It does. And here's the thing. It's not just about being humble for humility's sake. It's about making better decisions, building stronger relationships, and ultimately, leading more fulfilled lives.
I mean, who doesn't want that?
Exactly. And with that thought, I think we'll leave our listeners with a couple of questions to reflect on. Where in your life could you benefit from asking a few more questions before feeling certain? And how might you create more space for curiosity instead of quick certainty?
Ooh, those are so good. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
We'll catch you next time. Stay curious.